Hello and welcome to this episode of Calin's Outdoor Adventures. Today we're going to be tying a brown Duracell jig. So let's get started. I have a size 10 Montana Flyco jig hook in the vise. And I'm going to be using a little bead. It's just a countersunk bead. Just brass. Let's get that in there. Now I'm using size 10 today just so that you can see it better. You probably want to tie it in more of a size 14 to a size 12. So anyway, I'm going to start with some 6/0 uni thread, just in black. I'm going to get it on there. I'm going to trim the extra. So we're going to wrap down the shank, which about there. Then I'm going to, you can use Coq de Leon, but I don't have any right now. So I'm just going to be using some grizzly hackle, and it works just fine. I'm just going to pinch off some fibers, and that will be our tail. You're going to want it probably about 3/4 of a hook shank long, maybe a little shorter than that. That's about what I want right there. Then I'll trim the excess. A bit hanging on there. There we go. Then I'm going to get some, I'm just using copper ultra wire. So I'm going to get some of that. I'm just going to use the back of my scissors to cut it. There. I'm going to tie that in. Make sure it's secure. Then we're going to come back. And we're going to get some dubbing. You can use really any color, but I'm going to tie it in brown today. So I don't have the exact color I want, so I'm going to mix just some brown polyester dubbing with some golden brown ice dub. So we're just going to grab some, pull it out, and then just for a little bit of flash, grab a pinch of ice dubbing. I'm just going to mix those together. Then get your dubbing wax. We're going to get some extra thread out. And then you're going to wrap it. Make sure you only turn it one direction. That way it stays on. There we go. We're going to wrap it up the hook shank. Maybe a slight taper. I am not going to go all the way up because I'm actually tying the CDC version today. I forgot to say that in the beginning. I'm not going to go all the way up. I'm going to leave room for the CDC. So then we're going to take our ultra wire and we're going to counter wrap the dubbing in order to hold it in better. Up to your thread. Then you're going to wrap it. Then turn it back. And then you can bend it back and then helicopter it off. There we go. I am going to make a dubbing loop and use that for my CDC. So I'm just going to make a quick dubbing loop right here. There we go. I'm going to set that off to the side. And then I have some big D-loop tweezers here, and then I have a little homemade feather prepper right here. So I'm just gonna grab a CDC feather, push that down in. I'm gonna trim the ends. And I'm gonna get the D-loop tweezers in there. Grab it, pull it out. It's not the cleanest. Do that right there. This is kind of an odd feather, so it may not be perfect. Then grab my scissors. It's a little messy, but it'll do. Get my dubbing twister in there. Push it up. Then twist it. It's not a ton of CDC, but sparse collars work really good. Better to imitate the legs. So I'm just gonna wrap it right here. And I'm going to tie it off and trim it. Then for the collar, I'm going to use some more ice dubbing. Get this. Wrap it on. I'm going to use this to push back my collar of CDC. It's a little far back, but that's okay. And we're going to use our whip finisher. Do a 3 to 5 turn whip finish. We're going to cut our thread off. And then I'm going to use a dubbing brush to try to get some of that dubbing picked out. Trim some of my CDC. You can leave it like that, or what I'm going to do is just take some of these longer ones that are a little longer than everything else, just trim them to length. There we go. That is the CDC Brow Duracell. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe.